Daniel Midson short. I've known Daniel for years. He's in Founders District. I'm in 52, or right next door to him. I see different people come into the competition with giving a speech for different reasons. And I've seen people stand up and talk about how they were sexually abused by their father or something like that. And I said, they're not giving that speech for the audience. They're giving it for them. This is their therapy. And I will tell you, giving speeches about disappointments, embarrassments, difficult times in life is a great therapy. It's like peeling the onion back, man. You just keep digging and you keep talking about those things you don't want to talk about. It's very therapeutic. Daniel was giving that message as an honor to Cindy. It was therapy for Daniel. They were very close. I knew Cindy Carpenter very well, and I was very surprised when I found out that she died about a year ago, because I just seen her 6 weeks earlier, and she looked great. And then her cancer came back, and in 2 weeks, she was gone. I didn't realize how tight they were until recently. But he was giving that speech in honor of her, is why he was giving that. And so it had a different purpose to his speech, and I think that came out in it. And I wasn't sure, and we were talking about this last night. He started to get really emotional, and I've seen people try to get emotional to have an emotional impact on the audience. And I wasn't sure, and no disrespect to Daniel, if he was trying to get emotional, so we would get emotional, or if he was actually emotional. And there was a consensus. Everybody thought he was pretty emotional, but I had a question on whether he was really, having to suck it up because he was so tired. And that's where the authenticity comes in with the speaker. And I've had things, there's certain points I've had to stop because I thought I was going to cry on stage, but it was real. But I've never tried to fake crying on stage because I wanted to make an impact on the audience. That's where the integrity comes off, and you're trying to manipulate the audience in some capacity.
We realized that Daniel had a moment of concern at one point. He sort of lost where he was. And I'm saying, just breathe, buddy, just breathe, find your place. With Daniel's speech, as Lance said, it was like an homage to Cindy Carpenter. And I felt that we were being given a window into his world and that relationship. But I found myself wondering, that's touching, that's great. But how can I deeply apply that relationship to my life going forward? I found myself asking the what's in it for me question. The way I think is, I'm going to try and find a message. So I'm going to try to be Cindy and try to be an encourager. Hey, buddy, you can do this. That was my perspective. I want to be the Cindy. I want to be the encourager. I want to be the one to help. But what if I were the Daniel? And I don't have a Cindy. What do I take from the speech to encourage me to move forward? So that was my first concern for him. Besides being concerned he would lose his place, having done that myself in '94. But I just felt he didn't have enough for us. And I always teach, it's your story, it's about you, but it's for them. It's about you, but it's for them. So we have to have enough value for the audience from our own stories that they can walk away saying, yeah, I learned that and I can apply that to my own life. That was my first real concern about him. I like the idea of his journey. He was very chronological. He had a flow to his experiences of how she helped him to grow and to face what he was dealing with. Of course, it was kind of funny with the relationship piece. But I could see a really nice flow to his speech. I just didn't feel it was enough for me to take home and to ingest and to ponder for my own life. That's my Cliff Notes overview thoughts on Daniel.
And Daniel's a strong speaker. Has he been on the final stage before?
I don't believe he has.
But he's been to the semifinals many times. And I like him. He's a great speaker. I don't have a lot to add, but if we're in this together, I like the message, but the phrase is cliche.
We're in this love together. Aldro, sorry. Gotta love that lasts forever.
So we want phrases to be sticky. Now, I was okay with the message, but again, he broadcast it in this together. As he told the story, I would have liked to uncover that message rather than as he's telling a mentor story, I knew what was going to happen, and I knew, it just was slightly predictable. Doesn't make it a bad speech. We're just here to say, okay, here's what you need to consider when you're working on yours. So I really just had that, and I get, his goal was to pay homage to Cindy, and Cindy was amazing. Cindy was a Stage Time Edge member for many years, and I was at her funeral myself. But I just think the message was, don't have a memorable message. We say 10 words or fewer and make it your own. 10 words or fewer, whether it's a foundational phrase or that sticky message.
One of the new concepts that we've picked up, and those of you that have been with us a while know, Michael Haig is a brilliant storyteller. He's impacted us all. Lately, he's been teaching us to follow the pain. And Darren talked about this earlier. Follow the pain. The purpose of a story is to elicit emotion. Emotion comes from conflict. Conflict leads to the pain. What I felt I was experiencing with Daniel was his pain. He didn't tap into mine.
Right.
That was the biggest thing.
For me. Was it for
And
me?
I don't think any of it was fake. And he may not have even been ready for that.
Yeah.
It's possible he wasn't ready, but this was his chance. And if he wanted to use it to pay homage to her, God bless him, he did. But I just didn't connect it to any of the death I've had in my life. And that's what was missing.
And what we can do with it.
Yeah, what to
So I
do.
really think if he had more time, I think
fix
there
that
is a deeper message there that he could have personalized, but I think it's still raw.
Yes. In the back.
And the last row.
Can you just give that half again? You said the emotion connects to the conflict.
Story creates emotion. Emotion comes from conflict. Conflict is born out of, creates the pain, is where the pain is born.
Follow the pain. Michael Haig. Follow the pain. Yes.
I bumped into Daniel just right after this presentation, and I asked him something like, what was he feeling about in terms of the way things went. And just to kind of echo what you've already said, he said to me, I came to do something specific. He said, I'm very pleased that I could step out on the stage and pay homage to this person. As far as I'm concerned, I'm leaving the winner.
And that's,
that's
isn't
fine,
that
that's
what it's
fine.
about? Yeah.
And he accomplished his mission. My brain goes back to what he said. Okay, but what about us? What about the impact he could have made using her story? But again, that's his goal and his mission. He accomplished it. And he's a super nice guy, very talented. By the way, if you want to be the Stage Time Sponge winner, Ballsry is like the most coached, the most keeper comments. I think he's got a world record. So, yes, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
So one of the things in Daniel's speech that didn't resonate well for me was like, there was a question like, why did you help? And then she said, because we are in this together. If you're in this together, then there is really no need for help because you're already in the game. So it didn't resonate.
Disconnect for you?
So your thoughts, like, if you're doing it together, do you really say it's a help? What would you?
You mean to expound upon the meaning of the phrase, we're in this together? I think what he was trying to say is that here was someone who saw in him potential and value, and she was committing herself to him, to help him to grow as a presenter, to help him to build his relationships. And no matter what you go through, I'm going to be faithful and loyal to this particular relationship. We're in this together. And that could really have been expanded to reach to us, to have us question our own relationships, question our own commitments, question our potential failure to support and help and mentor others when we can, but we don't. Or, conversely, it could challenge us to be willing to receive the help from somebody who's offering, because not everybody who gets an offer for help accepts it. I told my story on Thursday. David Brooks offered himself to 7 finalists in '94. I was the only one who said yes, and I was the only one to return to the world stage 12 months later. So Daniel could have used that example of, here's Cindy Carpenter, professional, and she wants to help me? Oh my gosh. Have you had someone want to help you? Have you said no? And if so, why? It may not be too late. Go back and say yes. They could change your life the way she changed mine. I made that up. But do you see a difference right there? That was all spontaneous. But that's,
Another take, just a different idea is, the people in your life, Did they know you're in this together? Did they feel comfortable and confident enough to tell you their full truth? Because they know they're in this to get, something like that. So, and I really think he would have found it if he just dug a little deeper. It was there. It was there.
I want to point out one aspect to Ballsby's question. Mark started his answer with the words, I think. What does that mean? He wasn't clear. It always goes back to what Darren preaches all the time. Clarity, clarity, clarity. If we're not clear, we're going to start our response with, I think. That's what he meant.
So if you see the value in world-class feedback like that, you will love Stage Time University. If you're an experienced presenter, sometimes we're wondering, what's that little technique or that idea that I've been doing this for a while, but what do I need? We've designed Stage Time so you get world-class processes that you can take with you every time you take the stage, and we give you an opportunity to get world-class feedback on our live weekly calls. So check out Stage Time University, dive right in, become a member of Stage Time University, where we help you become unforgettable.